Hello everyone, welcome to the day one for a brand new HP Quick Test Professional / UFT training. This is the batch of July 28th, 2015. So what we're going to do is we will start with our first session. But before I do that, what I would love to do, team, is make sure that you all have a good audio and a visual. If you have any issues, please look at my instructions on the chat. For most members who've joined live today, thank you so much for coming in, and I appreciate your time to join the day one. For all the others who will come in a majority number to view the video, please make sure that you follow all my instructions one by one carefully, because the intent towards the end of this whole program, team, is to make sure that you master HP UFT, which is the Unified Functional Testing Tool, which was earlier called as QTP or Quick Test Professional, so that you can go leaps and bounds in your automation career as part of the IT industry. So for those of you who missed the initial orientation session, I'm going to quickly do a very brief walkthrough so you know exactly where we are right now and what we're going to do. This is the first session, so you will see a lot of basic things being dealt with in the first session. Now, but before I get there, I just want to make sure that you understand that we are looking at the huge job market that we have for the HP Quick Test Professional UFT in the area of software testing and quality assurance, and that is one of the primary reasons most of you are here. Either you're looking for a new job in that area, or you're already in a software testing QA field, but you're looking to get into an automation project using HP QTP, or you're shifting your career from a non-IT background into so and so. But most importantly, team, because you will have an edge over the other hundreds of thousands of QA professionals worldwide. This is going to be the unique differentiator for you, and how you learn what you learn will become key, because we are talking about getting you that specialization in a period of 3 to 4 weeks so that you can go and achieve your objectives and your goals in your career. Okay, so what can you expect towards the training? What we're looking at is primarily in the coming 3 weeks to be able to make sure that you master the most important concepts. You cannot master HP, QTP or UFT in 3 weeks. It will take you at least 3 to 4 months to really get very matured at it. However, there are foundation level and fundamental things that are most essential, and that we will look to master in the coming 3 weeks. What are those? VB scripting, which is the basic programming or coding behind the tool. What are the basic concepts of automation? Things like the descriptive programming, which has kind of feared a lot of people, where how the automation tool works, and most importantly, the concept of frameworks and how you implement them. Once we put all of this together, then your comfort level, your confidence will grow significantly, and that is where you will see that you are really in the direction of mastering HP UFT. All right, as I had mentioned in the orientation session, that there were certain prerequisites that I wanted you all to watch, team. So the prerequisites are primarily certain topics that will help you to go through some of the basic concepts. While I do cover most of them again, it will really help us to move forward in a very effective manner had you gone through those. Chapter 1 through chapter 5, about 6 to 7 hours, and I very clearly mentioned that you should go through them like watching a movie. So these are basic concepts about unified functional testing, the UI of the tool. What is a UI? User interface, the look and feel of how the tool looks. For example, right now you see this website. This is the UI. This is the logo. This is the menu bar. This is where people subscribe and so on. This is the user interface for this website. Similarly, for UFT, we have such an interface. Then I wanted you to look at something called as object identification as SPY, VB script debugging, actions and shared object repository, and some VB script concepts. I would strongly recommend for you to keep going back and watching these videos, team, because this is fundamental. This is the foundation. While we will cover, I will assume that most of you have gone through at least some of those things. It will help us to really go further and get our knowledge in a bigger way. Okay, so that's the whole idea, team. What else is there apart from the prerequisites? Let me quickly scan through this document. I also mentioned how you should watch the videos that I've suggested and so on. And there was questions about live training versus video-based learning. Here is what typically happens, team. I'll tell everyone about this fact, okay? Most of us will come to me, used to come to me and my team and saying that, hey, when is the next live training start? And then we convince them that, it's video-based training primarily because all the content that you're looking at, all the learning is already packaged together as videos. When I do live, the main advantage is the fact that we stick to a specific learning schedule. What does it mean? That a lot of us do not have that inbuilt motivation that, hey, we need to go and complete it. I have to do this 1 hour every day and so on. So once they sign up for a live training, they are committing themselves, or you are committing yourself to a specific schedule. All right. And that is the advantage of a live training. Apart from that, nothing big. Why? Because typically we have an audience. I have an audience of about 100 people attending this live sessions each time. Day 1 there'll be 100 people, but day 10 there'll be only about 65-70 people. Why? Because then people know that every session that I do is getting recorded and I host it online. Even if they miss the session, they can go back and revisit it, or even if they want to repeat it. So all that comfort is there, so they try and juggle the schedule. All right, so you should commit yourself that the coming 3 weeks I want to give my time, I want to give my effort and energy to make sure that I check this thing out of my to-do list. I make sure that I get that start. That is the main idea, team, because it's gonna ultimately give you a lot of boost and career growth, and that is why you should focus on it. Okay. I did speak about what to expect towards the end of the training and so on. Now, one thing that I did tell team is about the tool installation. All this that I'm showing you right now is part of a Google Doc that I've created. The folder will be shared with you all as we go along, or the files as I keep updating in the folder will be attached through the website. Okay. Now, um, most of you team who have already part of our premium membership package would have received a welcome pack that will talk about the tool installation and so on. What I did is today I have purchased a new Windows machine because I also needed one, and I installed this morning, this afternoon, HP Unified Functional Testing. All I did was very simple, team. I went to hp.com. Remember hp.com. I searched for UFT in the search box. It gave me a few options, and I came to the page where I could find to download the web version. I downloaded it. From there, it was very self helping instructions. So look here, I typed UFT, I got this results, and I went into this specific page, automated testing, unified functional testing, UFT HP official site. And once I got there, it showed me all about the tool, and then it gave me the option to download now. I clicked on it, and it will take me to a page where I fill in a form. Once I agree and I fill in a form, it will download the entire tool onto your local machine. Once it is downloaded, you just have to double click and go through the entire setup process, and eventually it will get installed on your machine. So very simple setup process. It will keep instructing you what it wants to do, what it needs to be doing, and so on. Once you're done with installation, team, you will find it as an icon out here. Okay, that is the whole idea. Now, let us keep this to the side for now, saying that, okay, the HP UFT has been installed. It's a 60-day trial version. That is what you will all get as part of the package with HP. That is good enough for anyone to really practice and get good at it. Okay, so you should definitely make sure that you install it and use the 60 days effectively to get a good grasp at the whole thing. There will definitely be a few changes that will come up as part of the UI, but let's not worry about it right now. The way we will do it, team, the whole approach is going to be based on projects. What I believe and the way I instruct my lectures is primarily that we will go through each and every concept using a new project. So first I will create a new folder here and I'll call it as project PROJ1. That's my project 1 team. In here, we will create an automation testing project. But before I do that, let me create a simple, not a Google Doc actually. I'll create a Google spreadsheet. I'm assuming team, most of you are comfortable with Word documents, uh, Microsoft Excels and so on. Not at a very deep level, but the basic concepts, because I use them and I assume that that is one of the prerequisites that you all have the expertise in the MS Office. Very basic one, okay? So this is project 1, overall test automation plan. Now team, do note, every word that I say, every instruction that I give is something that you have to follow extremely religiously. Why? Because I have a very clear agenda in my mind and I know exactly what I'm doing when I'm training you. If you do not follow instructions, if you try and skip steps, then it will become hard for you. Now, I'm saying this is a test automation plan, but it is not the typical test automation plan which is created elaborately with all the details in it. It is at a very high level, very basic overview. One of the most important things, team, before we get into automation is to understand the manual testing process and then come to the automation process. Okay. So in here, I'm going to first say the first thing that I talk about is application under test. What is AUT? AUT means that the specific application that you want to test, that is what we're going to put in out here. I want to mention which application do I take. Why is that important? Because we're going in a project based approach. And my intent of taking any application is so that the automation part of it will become easy for you to understand. Okay, so let us say some application that we are all comfortable with. Let's say like facebook.com. Okay, if I go to facebook.com team, what do I see? I see the initial home page. Most of the members, what will you all see team? You will see your own logged in version because you're already accessing Facebook from your machine. Once you go to facebook.com, it will automatically log you in. But this is a new machine. The computer here does not know that I have already have an account in Facebook because I've not yet signed in. But any new user who comes to Facebook looks at this. Now, I want you all to visualize something, team. I want you to visualize that you are working for facebook.com. Okay, this is high level testing plan. I'll just say, okay. Now, I want you all to visualize that you are part of facebook.com. You've all joined the organization called Facebook, be it in San Francisco Bay Area side or be it in one of their other locations, but you're part of the QA testing team. Okay, so you will be doing functional testing for them. What is functional testing? You basically want to make sure that this application is working the way they want it to be working. Developers will come in and develop this application, this home page, this overall functionality, but you will have to test it. Right now, if you see, this is the home page of it. There are many scenarios to be tested. What are scenarios? Scenarios or test scenario or test case is primarily saying that a user will come to facebook.com and perform certain activities which are basically like steps, one step after the other. Like for example, he or she wants to sign in, then he or she enters the email or phone number, the password, and clicks on the login. That is one scenario that we want to make sure that the user is able to successfully conduct. Now you are part of the functional testing team, so you are functional testing home page test scenarios, right? Now team, do not look at the sanity, or rather let me say that how correct is the template and so on. What we're trying to do is create some basic concepts. We have just joined this company, so we want to take notes. We want to make sure that we do everything in a very structured manner, and that is why I'm using this documentation. Documentation is one of the most important attributes that every software professional across the globe needs to understand and maintain team. If you do not perform proper documentation, then you are not a good software professional. This is our basic. The fundamental, one of the fundamentals is to make sure that we write down everything that we want to do, plan it before we do it. Now, what I will do is here, I will say the domain of this. What happened? Why is it not working? Okay, now it should be. Oops. Domain. What is the domain of this is industry or business team? Can someone tell me? Every company that you join belongs to a specific domain. What is the domain called? The domain or industry is the basic trade under which they perform. Like, let's say you join Citibank or you join Bank of America. You are part of the banking and financial industry. But if you're part of, let's say, a mortgage company which is doing home loans, then you're part of the mortgage industry. If you're part of, let's say, Walmart, then you're part of a retail industry, and so on. If you're part of, let's say, Southwest, then you're part of an airline or travel industry. And the domain is the basic functional knowledge that we all will possess, because end of the day, you can only test something that you're good at. If you are not good at that specific industry, that specific domain, or that specific functionality, how can we even assume that you will test it? So that domain is very important. In this case, it is the social media team. It will come under the social media, and this is all part of the internet uh, revolution that we're going through. This is a social media domain. Now, what we will do is I will talk about one specific test scenario. Okay, let's talk about one test scenario. I'll call this as TCID, test case ID, test case description, step, then result. What are we trying to do? We're all doing manual testing only, team. And if you note, I'm not in a hurry to open up QTP and do any kind of an automation right now, because once this becomes easy for you to understand, then everything will fall in place. The reason I took Facebook, because most of you are familiar with it and it is easy for you to understand the application. Once you understand the application, your focus is on the process and the automation. Now, let's talk about one test case. I will call it as TC001. This is like a unique identification for that test case. I can also call it as Facebook underscore home underscore 001. This is called as abbreviations, or you follow a specific standard to name anything, be it a document, be it a test case, be it a defect, anything that you want, you can follow a specific standard. What did I follow as a standard here? FB means Facebook. Underscore home means I'm only interested in the home page right now. That is the module of it. Within the given scenario of the whole thing, we are talking about a module. So I can use actually a drawing pen just to talk about it for a second. So let's assume this box is the overall functionality of Facebook team. In this, there's one module, and that is the home page module. Okay, this is your home page module. Similarly, there's so many other modules. Once we break down the entire big large application into smaller modules, it is easier to manage. And what are we trying to do? We are trying to test specific functionalities. In this case, we are trying to test one functionality, and that is user login. I'm sorry team, this is a new system, so I'm just trying to get used to the keyboard. User login. So the first step, what will it be? Visit fb.com. I'm writing fb.com, but just an abbreviation. You already know what we have to do. So the same thing, it is not yet done for us. We will continue to do a few more steps on it. Next, enter email. Let us say this is what we want to do. Then enter password. Then click login. This is my test case team. Okay, that's it. I'm not doing anything beyond this right now. Right? This is my only intent. Now, when I'm saying that this is all I want to do, what is it? Why am I trying to perform this? Because users come to the website, they will use this as one of their options to use the website. Facebook as an organization wants to make sure that the users have no issues in doing what they've come on to do, and you as a software test engineer have the responsibility to make sure that it works correctly. Now, if I send these details to you and ask you to perform the same operations, let's say I'm the team lead, you are one of the QA engineers who's part of my team. Let's say 10 of us are there in it. I am one team lead, 9 of you working with me, and I'm saying that, hey, you know what? I'm going to send this test scenario to you, one test scenario only. This is your day one on the project. You've come in as a new member into the QA team, and I'll say, test it. Will you be able to test it, team? Yes or no? Will you be able to perform the test? Yes or no? Why? Because you as humans are smart enough to understand what I'm saying. Okay. Uh, 1 second, please. I'm just trying to. Okay. So you as humans know exactly that yes, you can do it. Why? No. You okay? So um, visit facebook.com. Is it tough for you to go to facebook.com? No. And is it tough for you to enter an email? Let's say I want to enter Karthik at ITeLearn.com. And let's say my password I don't remember, but I'll just enter some dummy password and I'll click on login. That is it, nothing else. I am not doing any kind of verification or anything out here. Just go to the website, enter email, enter password, click login. As manual testing, do you understand each of the steps? Yes. What is the question you'll have? Probably the data. Data in the sense test data. What should I enter? What is the URL here? www.facebook.com. That is one question you may have. Next, enter email. What email will you enter? Let's say you'll enter Karthik at ITeLearn.com. This is, or whatever email you have. And let's say this is the password you enter. For click login, there is no data that is needed. Now, giving this document to you, you as a human being can understand what to do and can then say that the result for each of the step is a pass or not. And this is part of the testing cycle. Hundreds and thousands of such small testing that we do on this website will make this application stable or will make it ready enough for the users to start using it. Now, why is it that I should do any kind of an automation? Why is automation needed? Why should I perform it? And how do we perform it now? Let's talk about that. Automation is all about trying to get more, number one, efficient in what we are doing. In the sense, let's take that to do this, it'll take me 2 minutes. If I do automation, this is like a curl braces team. My drawing skills are not the best, so it's even it's even more worse now. Just imagine that's a curl braces. Okay, let's say that manually for me to do this will take me 2 minutes. If automation does not take me 1 minute, there is no point in doing it. It is not efficient enough. What do I mean? Let's say I have to go from a place A to place B. Walking will take me 20 minutes. If my car does not take me at least 10 minutes, then there's no point in using a car, burning the fuel, and doing all of those things, correct? So the efficiency is very critical, team, for automation. It has to be efficient. What has to be more efficient? Your automation should be more efficient than your manual process. Why do we have all these manufacturing plants where there's an automobile? Automobile is basically your mobility has been automated. That is what it is. So your car manufacturing has this shop floor where everything is being done by robots. Why? Because they're efficient more than human. End of the day, yeah, we will do a lot of other things which humans are needed to do, but that is what we're trying to do as an efficiency improvement. Okay, any activity that we do, if it can help in letting us do it better in terms of speed and so on, that is efficiency. Next thing, team, is something called as reusability, because I don't want to build a robot that will build only one car. Let's say I work for Toyota in the manufacturing unit, in the plant where all the cars are being assembled, and I built a robot that, let's say, assembles the door panels for the car. I don't want to create a robot that will do it only one time. It has to be reusable. Those automation, whatever we do, has to be reusable. So the same car, you can use it over and over and over again. So first time you saved 1 minute, second time you'll save one more minute, and so on. So as you keep using it, your uh, return on the investment, the time, the money you spend to buy such a car will slowly start making sense. That is why these things have to be reusable. The next thing is called accuracy. Okay, this is my way of putting things together as part of automation. Okay, any automation testing, automation process, any kind of a script that we need to develop has to meet all of these factors. The third one that I said is accuracy. What is the point if I'm building a car that has to take me from A to B but does not take me from A to B? It is efficient, it will go very fast, I can keep on reusing it, but it does takes me from A to C. Or it puts the front door to the back door and so on. It has to be accurate. It has to do exactly what I say. My instructions have to be clear, and the automation process has to follow them. This is the fundamental building block for any automation testing team. Always remember that. Any automation process, automation, manufacturing, cars, or your let's say you want to manufacture iPads or anything, whatever you want to manufacture, whatever you want to do as part of automation, should be as part of these three fundamental concepts: efficiency, reusability, and accuracy. Only then it'll make sense. Now, as human beings, you understood this. Now, if I have to automate anything, I have to answer two questions very importantly. For I'm going to erase this, team. You all have this as a video anyway, so you can keep and we'll keep revisiting all of these concepts over and over again. It'll become easy for you to understand. Now, if I have to, let's say, I build a robot team, okay, that has to let's say, let me try and make it simple. Okay, if I have to build a robot which will drive my car, okay, I'm going to build a new I wouldn't say artificial intelligence, but let's say robot which will drive a car. What is the instruction that I have to give to the robot to drive? Number one, I should say where it needs to perform a specific operation. Okay, the where portion. The second one, this is the where, team. This mouse is very clumsy for me. The second one is what it needs to do. So what do I mean? I am saying that, okay, go from A to B. Take my car, that is the where, that is the car, and go from A to B. That is the instruction. But it is not just like that. It is, number one is open door. The first one is open door. That is the where portion. Then the next one is um, uh, get inside, the action that you take. So all of these things, activities can be broken down into simple steps. Second is turn on engine. Third is press acceleration. Fourth is go from start driving or turn the steering to the right and left and so on. All these instructions that you need to go from A to B can be broken down into simple concepts called where and what. Where is it that we will do a certain activity and what is it that we will do? Once we answer this, any tool will be able to perform those activities easily. Now, to do this, the way we will do it is very simple, team. Now I'm going to launch the UFT, and let's take a quick look at how we perform it. So far, I have just been giving you the idea about how in your new project that you're going to do manual testing, why is automation testing important, and why does it say 30 days? I thought it's a 60 days trial. Okay, anyways, I'm taking as standard as is. So sorry, I've been mixing up between the overview of. So I was talking about automation testing, the ERA, efficiency, reusability, accuracy, and I said the concept that for any automation you have to give instructions. The instructions have to be clear. Like where is it that you have to do something? What is it? Why do you have to tell something? Because it's a robot. Robot is the stupidest thing you'll find in the world because it doesn't have intelligence on it. It is as smart as your instructions. But what it really helps in doing is the fact that it becomes smart over a period of time when you look at the efficiency, reusability, and accuracy really playing into it. Now, here is the UI of the HP Unified Functional Testing. What is a UI, team? I mentioned what a UI is earlier. All of these terms are very, very critical for you to know, team. Okay, so when you take notes, when you watch my videos, you can take notes on these things. What is UI? What is AUT? Some of the abbreviations that I use, you can look at those to make sure. UI is the user interface, the thing that you see when you look at anything. So this is the user interface. There are so many features out here that have come up. See, like this is the menu bar. There's some quick access buttons out here. There's a solution explorer on the right side. There's a start page, sorry, on the left side, and start page on the right side. Now, this is the latest UI for version 12.5. So for 12.5, this is the latest version. But if you look at 12.01 or you look at 12 or you look at 11 or 11.5 or 10, it would have changed. The UI keeps changing. Why? Because they're incorporating new features. HP, Hewlett Packard as an organization is looking at the market, is seeing what the customers want, and they're trying to incorporate those into their overall program. Now, this is the tool which should help us do what, team? Perform these tasks. How will it help us to perform these tasks? To do this, team, there are two options. The first option that typically any automation tool tries to bring to you is called record and run method. What is the record and run method? Record and run method is a way in which we are giving this instruction to HP UFT. We are saying UFT, look at what I am doing and replicate the same thing again. So watch what I am doing, where I am doing, how I am doing, learn it, keep it recorded somewhere, store it, and then when I ask you to replay it or run it, you do it. So it records what I do and it runs. This is the fundamental concept of any automation tool. It tries to learn what you're doing. Now, this is the very, very elementary program, elementary automation team, record and run. And this is something that you should say a big no-no to in your career. This is a big no. It's a stop sign. So as soon as record and run comes, your interview is closed. Your job hunt is done there. You have to move on to the next. Why? Because the industry wants to move much beyond record and run. They want you to be very programming side. They want you to really explore that. And that is why we will do custom scripting. We will create our own custom automation test scripts. How do we do it? We will see it in the coming session. But right now, let's just look at that record and run very briefly and see how it works. Okay. Now, to do this, the first thing that I need to do is create a new test. So I go to File, I go under New, and I'm clicking on Test. Do you see this, team? Okay. There are many other options here. I'm not interested in them right now. When will we get to know all of these things? As you keep using the tool, as you keep exploring one feature after the other, you will. Most of them, some of them you don't even need to know right now. Some of them you may know it eventually. So what is most important is the basic concept. That's what we're trying to get to right now. So let me erase this, the record and run thing that I put, and this I'm going to call this as GUI test. That's fine, but the name I will give it as FB. Okay, you know what? This is how I'm going to name it. PROJ1 underscore FB underscore TC001. Or no, actually I have home, no? Underscore home page underscore 001. This is my name. Oh, sorry, rather this is my naming convention for the test. Just like how I named the test there, this is how I'm naming it here, and I'll say create. As soon as I say create, HP UFT is trying to create those resources on the back end that will help us do what? Run the record and run the automation test that will help us overall in the efficiency, reusability, accuracy, and so on. Okay. Now, if you notice, team, a few of these options changed immediately out here. You will see more menu bar items appearing. You'll also see more shortcuts or quick access buttons coming up here. And you'll also see Solution Explorer. There's something happened here and out here. So this is the basics, team. Now, you don't have to focus on mastering everything. Just focus on what I'm showing and where you go. Everything will become clear as we go along. We will go under the action one out here, team. Okay. Now what I want you to do is I want you to keep Windows left arrow, Windows key on your system, and left arrow is what I used to get this window of UFT to one side, and I kept it like this so that I can see what is happening. The second thing is I'm going to close this specific Internet Explorer application team. I'm going to close it and I'll relaunch it. Okay, I've closed it. Always close all tabs, close all tabs. Everyone with me, team, I might be slow when I begin with, but I'm assuming that we are going the right direction. Any questions so far that I can answer? Because for me, speed is not important. The most important concept is how much, I mean, once the concept gets into your head, it should stay there like a nail. It should not come out ever. You should be so confident about the concept, and that is my approach of doing things. So if there are any questions that I can answer, please let me know, so that I can quickly look at it and then move forward. Any question that I see that is not necessarily relevant with the current session right now, I may ignore it for a few minutes, team, but I'll come to it towards the end of the session. Okay, Suparna, that's also for you, so I'll come to your question soon. Okay, so now see, someone's asked me a question saying that in real time do we use record or run? Did I just not mention few minutes back what I said? Then how can we ask the same question again? Guys, I'm not trying to demotivate you or put you down from asking me a question, but then that means that you're not listening to me clearly. You're not following my instructions. I am trying to train you, but if you don't trust me and listen to every word that I say, then it is not going to be effective enough for you. I told record and run is a big no-no. It's a big stop sign immediately. Okay, the only reason I'm going to show it now is so that you understand. Please feel free to ask me any questions. This is the beauty of online training. You don't have to feel shy like in a real physical classroom where you raise a hand, you ask a question, and then I say, you know what, that's not a great question. It doesn't matter right now because it's online, so you ask any question, team. But the reason I said is you have to follow instructions, and please make sure that every word that I say is really noted well with you. Okay, now what I'm going to do as part for the record and run is first I'm going to open up Internet Explorer. I will hit Windows right arrow so that I have the IE on one side, Internet Explorer, and I have UFT on the other side. Now I have not even done a record and run on this machine so far, team. So let's see how it behaves. The first thing is I hit this red button. Do you see this red button? This is the shortcut for record. Once it's a record, it will open up the record and run settings. This are all simple features. You don't have to worry about looking at all of them. Just say whatever is there, just say okay to it right now. We'll go with it as a flow, and then we will come back to it as we go along. Now it has minimized the application automatically. Okay, now it is recording team. Okay, that's why you see the stop sign here, and you'll see that on the left bottom it is saying it is recording, and on the right side I have the Internet Explorer, that is the application team. Okay, this recording project one, this is also the shortcuts to it. It's here. Now first thing, as a step, remember those 4 steps we had is go to facebook.com. okay, that is the first thing I'm doing. See, as soon as I say something out here, it is writing some steps out here. Okay, this is what it wants to do, and that is how it will learn that okay, this is what I need to do. So it is trying to understand each of the steps. Second is I'm going to go into this application and I will start to write my email address. I'll say Karthik at ITeLearn.com. Now as soon as I do this and I do a tab or go to the next field, observe what happens in the left side. This white space out here, which is looking like a text space, like a notepad, which is coming under action 1, is your main focus area team, because that is your VB script. This is where we will spend a lot of our time. So keep that focus on that always. Now see, as soon as I write something, it has generated another line, that is line 3. Okay, now let's look at password, and I enter 123 QWE. Exactly what I did in the manual testing is what I'm repeating out here again. And as soon as I do that, another line of code is getting generated. The line of code is a little too big, so if I scroll to the right side, you will see that the overall instructions are being taken care. And then finally I click on login, and these steps have now been performed, and I will close the browser. Now I will stop recording. So what did I say when I said record? It basically I said QTP or UFT, which is Unified Functional Testing. That is the abbreviation for it. Learn what I'm doing, understand it, and note everything about it. Why? Because now I will save it. I've already named it as proj1 underscore fb underscore home 001. Now I can say run it. Now when I say run, let's see what happens. So it opens up a pop-up saying a few things about it. The only thing that I'll recommend team is go under options and say not new run results folder, just temporary run results folder. Why are we doing this? Because what we're trying to learn here team is automation testing. Okay, this is what we all are here today to learn. Automation testing. 95% of our time will be spent on how to automate. Okay, it is all about automation. The final testing or identifying and recording or reporting the defects is the testing process, and it's fairly easy for us to understand it. That we will get to later. So that 5% is not a big deal. It is a very simple thing. So that is why when I'm running the test, the results are not essential for me right now, because our focus is on automation. It is not at looking at testing or results. That's a very simple thing that we will look at towards the end. That is the reason I'm taking temporary run results, so that it does not create new folders each time on your machine when you're running the program. Okay, because we're not yet testing. We're focusing to try and do automation. So that is the reason I'm saying that let's do temporary run results. Now that's done, and I'm going to click on run, but let me erase this drawing before I do that. So now it is trying to execute the program. It is trying to execute one line after the other. So I gave an instruction to that robot, UFT, do this, and the UFT is trying to do it. Either it can do it or it cannot. If it cannot do it, then it will come back and tell me that, you know what, I'm failing to do certain thing, and it will then throw something called as a runtime error, and that is what we have to really get good at in handling. It's still trying to run this, and the reason it is taking so long team is because the browser is not open for it. That is the reason it is taking so long. But it should have thrown an error and stopped. Why is it not doing it? That's okay. I expected it to already throw a runtime error and say that, you know what, Karthik, I don't understand what you're asking, or I've given up. It has not done it, so I'm going to stop it right now, team. I'm stopping the test run. Now it is giving me some details and all that. I'm not interested. I'll go back to action 1. And this time what I will do, team, is I will open up Internet Explorer and I'll keep it to the right side. Okay. Now I am going to rerun this test. Now let's see. Again, temporary run results folder and say run. Now do you see, team? It's going to Facebook. It has entered my username, entered the password, clicked on login, and it closed. And at the end of this test, you will see some kind of a temporary results coming up saying that, okay, what it did and so on. Now, I'm not interested in the results right now, team. I'm interested in seeing what happened. Everything that happened went on very quickly. Number one, what you have to understand, team, is each step that we had in that Google spreadsheet, which I've closed right now, is related to some step here. For example, the first two steps is to open open Facebook. Okay, go to facebook.com. That's the first thing that these two steps are doing. How do I know? Either through experience, team, or by looking at it intuitively and seeing what the steps mean. We will come to each of these things, team. Once you understand these basic concepts, things will become so easy. For example, what is browser? What is page? Why is it saying msn.com? Why is it not saying facebook.com? All of these things, once it becomes easy for you to understand, then it will be so crystal clear for it. Second is enter email address. That is what we had as a step also, correct? Manual step. And that is what the second step is doing. Third step is entering password. And that is what this is doing. And the fourth step is click on login. Finally, after this, the final step, team, is to close the browser. Now, the reason I'm closing the browser, team, is because I didn't need the browser open any longer. Now, what did I just do? I edited the script. This is the main VB script, team. What we're doing right now is VB scripting. Okay, I did a record. Yes. I did a run through it. Yes. Is it something that I want you to master and learn? No. Then why am I teaching you or showing you record and run right now? So that the concepts are getting easy for you. Once you get the concepts, you will not touch record and run anymore. Okay, that is the reason. Now, this is your VB scripting team. Okay, what is VB script? It is a programming language. What is a programming language? Team, just to give you a quick idea or overview, I never come prepared for a session because this is something that I've done so many times, and I go in a very organic or um, sequential flow that I don't really come with a specific agenda that this is what I'm going to do and so on. I know that project 1 will take 5 days or 6 days, project 2 will so and so, what I need to do and so on. Now, if there's anything that you feel that I'm missing out while doing it, please do let me know so that I can be able to address it. Now, what is VB scripting, team, or any kind of a programming language? This is very essential we as professionals to understand. Okay. Now, I am a human being. All right. I'll try and draw one quick image. Okay, I'm a human and I have a machine, let's say a laptop. Okay. Now, what is it that I understand? I understand English very well. That is my language. What is it that the computer understands? It understands some kind of a computer language which we don't know, which is something called as bits and bytes, or bytes rather, just zeros and ones. Now, for me to communicate with a system to perform certain activities, I need to pass instructions to it. Do this, do that, and those instructions can be passed using a language. That language is your programming language. Then it says, how does an application like, let's say, Microsoft Word work? Or how does a website work? Or how does, let's say, a GoToWebinar, this is also an application, work? All of these instructions is the language. So the thing in between that lets us give instructions of how an application should work on our machine, on a system, is all about the programming language. Once we understand the programming language, we are able to effectively communicate with the application. So to communicate with unified functional testing tool or HPQTP or UFT, we need to understand the programming tool corresponding to it, and that is called VB scripting. Why? Because UFT understands VB scripting. If you understand VB scripting, then you both are talking to each other. You are friends then. If you're not doing it, then you have a lot of communication gap, and that will be a problem. This specific area right here is the VB scripting portion team. Once you start to understand and give instructions correctly, then it will follow your orders. Now, I'm going to save this test team. Okay. As soon as I try to save, do you see what is coming here? Some kind of errors. Anything that you see with red cross out here is basically saying that there is a problem. What is the problem? The problem is called a syntax error team here. Syntax error is basically saying that, Karthik, I am unified functional testing. You're trying to tell me something in VB scripting, but your instructions are not correct. There is something wrong. It is a grammar error. Okay, I'm not trying to put the dot at the right place, the comma at the right place, and so on as English grammar. That is the problem that UFT has. In this case, what it is trying to say is, every statement that I've kind of added, it is saying that something is missing there. These statements or the English that I wrote are notes to myself or to my team. As a QA professional, I want to keep them. Now, that cannot be understood by VB script. So for that to understand, I have to say that this is a English comment. And to do that, what I need to do is go to that line and do a control M. Once I do a control M, it will become a comment. It will put a single quote at the beginning of it, and it will say that, hey, this you don't have to worry about. It is just a comment from my own side. And that becomes automatically in green color, and it changes the font and so on accordingly, because that is how it understands. And you'll see each and every concept about why is it green, why is it so on, and so on as we go along. Now, as soon as I did a control M, which is a shortcut for a comment, it has automatically changed it from the errors that came up here, which is called as syntax errors, which are grammatical errors from a language perspective, have disappeared. So now it understands, oh, okay, now I understand what to do. While doing it, I may fail. That is going to be runtime error. Before doing something, if UFT tells you that, hey, there's an error before running the script, that means that's a syntax error. It doesn't understand the grammar. But while running the test, if it gives you an error, that means there's a runtime error. While running, there's an error. Once we master these two, you are a great UFT professional, and that is what the industry wants you to be, so that they can pay you the required money and get you there. The second thing that I want to do, team, is first I've added comments, is that it went too fast between the steps. So I want it to give an instruction saying that wait for me for a few seconds between each step. So I'm going to put an instruction saying here, wait, let's say 2 seconds. Do you see the format here, team? As soon as I write wait, automatically that word has become bold and blue. And then I'm saying 2, that is what is the number of seconds that I want it to wait. How do you know that it is wait as a command and 2? Because I've told you right now. As I keep telling, you will learn, and that is how you will know. Okay, once I tell you, that is when you will know that, oh, this is the instruction. Same thing, I'm going to copy and put it everywhere, and I'll say that, okay, wait for 2 seconds between each step before you move forward. That is my instruction to it. See, slowly we are starting to edit the script. Once we do this, then we will, in the next session, we'll understand what is msn.com, why is it saying msn when we're looking at Facebook, what is this page, what is this web edit. All of this we will get into the next session. Now I'm going to put this to the side. I'm going to open IE once again, because I have not given it an instruction to open it from its side, and I will run the test again. So the same test, again temporary run results, I'm going to run it, but this time what I did is I put comments and I put wait. So you will see the test running slower, but at the same time I can see exactly what is happening at each point. See how nicely it went through each and everything, and it has executed it the way we wanted it. Okay, now this is the automation scripting. Is it efficient yet? No, not yet. It will become efficient slowly. So team, for today, that is it. I just want to take a pause and make sure that I answer all your questions before um, we end the session. So I'll give you about 5 minutes, team, so that we can have a quick roundup. But do understand, this is a project. We are taking this as the first project. We understand the basics of automation, basics of VB scripting, basics of objects, UFT, UI, all of these things. We will learn this. And as we go along, towards the end of this project, everything will become easy for you to understand. That is the whole idea. All right, team. Let me quickly take some of the questions. How UFT is different from QTP? So, Suparna, that question, that's the first question that I want to take. Okay, it's basically say a new name to the old product team. Okay, it's just a new name that we're giving to an old product, not we are giving. HP as a organization, it actually purchased this tool was called as Windrunner years back, and this was with a company called Mercury Interactive long back. And then uh, uh, HP purchased the organization, and Windrunner and LoadRunner both came under HP with it. And then they finally renamed it to being Quick Test Professional, or QTP. So version 9, version 10 were all QTP. From version 11 onwards, it has renamed it to become Unified Functional Testing. Why? Because it tried to combine web services, ALM, and a lot of other concepts through it as a one combined package, and that's how it renamed it to become Unified Functional Testing. That is a new name that it is trying to brand again into the market with. That is the reason it has this. Okay. Okay. So what is UFT? I just answered also that question, Jasmine. Can I get any email address of yours, your team, which I can send my questions regarding this session after I go revise all of this required session? So the way it works is you can always send an email to learn@ITeLearn, but that is only about course details. Any question that you have about the session, team, you have to go to my website, ITeLearn.com, and make sure that you utilize the forum very effectively. So what you see on the menu bar, the forum, that is the technical forum that I want each and every one of you to visit often, and try and look at not only what questions you want to put and get answers, but also look at what questions others are asking. So if you scroll down, why is this not scrolling? And go to QTP automation, you will see that there are over almost 800 topics of discussions, about 2200 posts that have been created on various discussions, and you'll see all the different questions being asked, even simple questions, layman questions to very complex ones. And all of these questions are being handled and answered by my technical support team and also other members like yourself. So it's a very collective forum for you to really understand and interact with each other. Okay, so please do visit the forum for questions. Okay, let me see what else is there from. So what I'm doing, team, right now is just going through the questions from the chat so that I can quickly answer some of them before we end the session. Yeah, so the reason I had to open Internet Explorer before I ran it, because when I recorded, I did it like that. So that is what it's resuming. Tomorrow I'll show you how we can do it without me having to open it. If no record and run, then why do we have record and run feature? Very good question, man. So basically, let's say that, uh, how do I say this? Um, let's say you buy a vehicle, team, okay? It is automatic by default. Okay, you buy a car. Why do you want it automatic? Why can't you use gas? Because it's easy. It is a feature that we will provide. But the reason we don't want to use it is the power is not there in that automated or automatic gear shift. We will try and do it manually because we've seen there's more power that will get generated through it, and that is why we are not using it. Historically, what these tools assume and wanted to do were the fact that test engineers, software test engineers, or quality assurance professionals are not people who can understand programming and coding. It is not their cup of tea. They're functional experts. They understand the functionality of the application and they can perform the test, but they don't necessarily come from a background of computer science, or they can't program it. And that is why they created these features and gave it to us as QA engineers, that okay, you know what, it's easy for you. Just say what you want to do, show it, it'll save it, and you can do it. But now there's so much of automation need that little bit of scripting is always essential. And that is why we are moving away from record and run. So that basic feature is there in the tool, but we have to go much beyond it to really become an expert at it, and that is what the market wants. All right. Okay, let's see. If you don't use, okay, so that I answered. If as you do activities to open Facebook, the steps automatically in VBScript, right on tool, then why we need VBScript, right? So Jasmine, because we will customize it. I will show you. Okay, it is generated as is, but then we will do customization. It'll become easy for you in the next session. Hi, this is Sue. I did not go through the preview videos that you mentioned in the beginning. What are they? So Sue, you can ask once again in the email to my team. They'll send you the details of it. And I'll have the team send you along with this video also what are those videos. It basically, what I'm covering right now, the same concepts, but it always help you to come with that knowledge. Today's session, I went very slow, team. Tomorrow's session, I'll go very fast. And then you'll see day 3 will be faster. The speed will keep increasing. So it'll help to go through the prerequisites because it'll answer a lot of this question before we enter into the session. Can we have access to forum after we pay? Yeah, so can the forum, all of you will have access to. The read access is there for every visitor. To post, you will have access to it once you become premium members team. Thanks for your time. I would like to know how long are you going to take explaining the full concept of QTP UFT? Kurban, about 3 weeks. What is HP ALM? ALM is basically your it is the complete application lifecycle management tool. It talks about how you manage test cases, test effects, and so on. It is not an automation tool. It is just a test maintenance tool. It maintains all the test cases, test artifacts, and so on. And that is totally different from UFT because UFT is a functional testing tool. It runs the functional test. ALM will only store it. ALM is like a Windows Explorer. It will store the files for you there. But UFT is like a robot. It will perform the steps for you also. What types of browsers UFT support? Does it support Chrome, Firefox, IE 10, 11 as well? Predominantly focus on IE team. It is not the most powerful or widely recognized cross-browser testing tool yet. Yes, there's also a feature for us to do on Firefox, but it is not really built for cross-browser testing so far, not yet. But again, you will have those options as we keep going along. If possible to you, will say in middle, sir, that's good to listen and easy to keep. Sorry, Kumar, I didn't understand your question, but I'm assuming that questions, right, to or listen. Oh, so for example, you want to get unmuted. Yeah, we can try and do that. So team, last question for the day, and then we'll go forward. Yes, Jasmine, the video will get emailed. The link, it'll be there on the website itself. You don't even have to worry about looking or waiting for us. If you go to the website, go to our home page on the website, you will notice that one second, please. On the events, you'll see QT UFT live training 28 July 2015. Do you see this link, team? You click on it. Right now, you will only see the orientation session video there. When I finish this session, I will encode it, then I will upload it. My team will take it, embed it. So they'll do a couple of processes. It will take a few hours for us to do it. And then you will start seeing that file also available for you on this specific page. All right. All right, everyone. I believe this is towards the end of the question and answer section also. Sorry, it took a little longer today the session. We will come back tomorrow. We'll continue from where we left as day 2, and we will proceed from there. Once again, thank you all. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you back tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye now. Take care all. Bye.